New topic is magnetism and matter. Around 600 BC, a Greek philosopher Thales observed that a naturally occurring iron ore, so that is a magnetite, that is Fe3O4, which is available in Magnesia. So this is a island in Greece. So this material, the naturally occurring iron ore, has the property of attracting small pieces of steel, iron, nickel. The property shown by this iron ore, which is available in Magnesia, is named as magnet. So the magnet is derived from the word Magnesia. This is the island in Greece. So what is a magnet? Magnet is a substance which attracts this steel, iron, nickel, cobalt like this. So this is named as a magnet. Magnet generally available as natural magnets and artificial magnets. What are these natural magnets? The magnetic ore, that is Fe3O4, which is available in nature in any form, in any shape or size, is known as a natural magnet. Whereas artificial magnet are the magnets that are produced by us according to our shape, according to our requirements, and in required shape as well as size are known as artificial magnets. Generally nowadays we are using this artificial magnet in ATM cards, in computer chips, as well as in discs. So in all these materials we are using these artificial magnets. Now a bar magnet, a magnet in the form of a bar, so we call it as a bar magnet, has three different properties. The first one, attractive property. Second one, directive property. Third one, inducive property. What is this attractive property? A bar magnet attracts another bar magnet or magnetic material with some force. So that property is known as attractive property. Under directive property, whenever a bar magnet is suspended, this is north pole, this is south pole. Whenever a bar magnet is suspended from a string, it vibrates for some time and comes to rest in the north-south directions of our earth. So that means it always shows the north and south poles of our earth. That's why by using this bar magnet, we can find the direction of north pole on the surface of earth. So this property is very useful for the sailors in oceans or seas. So this property was discovered by Chinese, and this property was discovered by Greeks. And the third property is inducive property. If you keep a bar magnet with a magnetic material like iron or nickel for a long time, so this is the north pole and south pole, then it is observed that even the iron will get magnetic properties. So this iron block or iron piece behaves as a magnet. So because this induces its properties to this body or to this magnetic material, so then this iron piece will behave as a magnet. So this is called inducive property. So a bar magnet will have three types of property. So based on these three, we can define a bar magnet as simply a magnet. So what is a magnet? Magnet is a substance which attracts small pieces of steel, iron or nickel, and always comes to rest in the direction of north and south poles of earth, is known as a magnet. So I am going to define the magnet. A substance that attracts steel, iron, nickel and so on, and comes to rest in north-south directions of earth when suspended freely is known as a Bohr magnet. And you can include the property of induced property also in the definition. Say a substance which attracts this one, so we added this property, and steel, iron, nickel, so things, and comes to the rest in the north direction. So we included derivative property in the definition, and also here when suspended freely and induces magnetic properties in the magnetic material. If you want, you can add that one here. So freely and induces magnetic properties in some materials or in magnetic materials is known as magnet. A Bohr magnet here, we know that a magnet exerts another magnet with some force, but the attractive force will be maximum at 2 points in a Bohr magnet. The points where the attractive force is maximum is called poles. So pole is a point where force is maximum, or point where attractive force is maximum. Attractive or repulsive. Here actually in the properties also either it is attractive or repulsive property. So here I am just taking only that attractive property. Attractive force is maximum is called a pole. So generally these poles are denoted with N north pole, S south pole, because this is a north seeking pole when it is suspended freely from a wire, and this is a south seeking pole, so it is a north pole and this is south pole, north pole and south pole. You can see the north pole and south poles of a Bohr magnet are not on the edges, they are slightly inside the edges of this one. The distance between north pole and south pole, the shortest distance between north pole and south pole is also called effective length or magnetic length of a Bohr magnet. But what is the geometric length from end to end? This is called geometric length. I am denoting this with L. It is found that the magnetic length is always less than the geometric length, and the relation between these two is given by 2L is equal to 5 by 6 times of this. So this we call it as magnetic length, the shortest distance between north and south poles. This is the magnetic length, is 5 by 6 times the geometric length. Now, the line that passes through the north and south poles is known as magnetic axis. So this is the axis of Bohr magnet. Now, if you take a plane that passes through the axis is known as magnetic meridian. Now, that will come later while discussing about Earth as a Bohr magnet or Earth's magnetism. Now, after this, here in electrostatics we studied that the combination of negative and positive charges, two equal and opposite charges separated by some distance, is called electric dipole. Here also the north pole is generally taken as a positive pole of a Bohr magnet and the south pole is taken as a negative pole of a Bohr magnet. So please remember, whenever in a problem the positive pole of a Bohr magnet is given, so positive pole is nothing but a north pole. So here I am writing north pole is taken as positive pole and the south pole is taken as negative pole of the Bohr magnet. In this, as we know that in electric dipole, the dipole moment P acts from negative charge to positive charge. We know this formula, P bar is equal Q into 2A bar. Here the pole will have some strength. The strength with which a pole attracts another pole of a bar magnet or another magnetic material is known as pole strength. So here I am going to denote this pole strength here. I am going to denote this pole strength with a small m. Don't confuse with the mass. So here pole strength is the strength or the force with which it attracts another pole of a magnet or magnetic material is known as pole strength of this pole. Generally, we know that if you take a small bar magnet here, this is north pole and south pole, and if you keep one more magnet here, so this is south pole and north pole. The north pole of this bar magnet attracts this one with some force. The force with which it attracts this one is called pole strength of this one. Or if you keep some magnetic material here, even this material will be attracted by this one. The force with which this magnetic material attracted by this pole is called pole strength of this one. The law of pole states that the pole strength of north pole is exactly equal and opposite to the pole strength of the south pole. So we can write the pole strength of the north pole, that is N is equal MS. So this is the condition here. The force with which the north pole attracts this one is equal to force with which the south pole attracts or repels with this one. That's why here I am writing the strength or the force with which it attracts or repels another pole of a magnet or magnetic material is called pole strength. In the previous lesson, when we are discussing about Biot-Savart law, in Biot-Savart law, we used this one, a thin wire carrying some current I. Due to the small elemental portion of this one at a distance r, it producing magnetic field. The magnetic field produced due to this small element is due to the product of current and length. So that formula dB is equal mu naught by 4 pi I dl sin theta by r square. This element, that is the product of current and length, is called IDL. We call it as current element. So who is responsible for the magnetic field at this point? The current that is flowing to this one and the length of this one. So this element, current element, is responsible for dB. What is the unit of this ideal current element? Current is measured in amperes, length is measured in meter, so ampere meter. Similar to this, here when it is producing a magnetic field around it, it is attracting this one. Whenever this south pole is within the magnetic field produced by this one, then the magnetic field lines will attract this south pole. Here the magnetic field is produced by this one, that is north pole of this bar magnet. So this north pole is having the same unit, that means the pole strength is measured in ampere meter. So SI unit of pole strength is ampere meter. The laws of magnetic poles states that, the first one we studied so many times in our lower classes. Unlike poles attracts each other, whereas like poles repels each other. This is the first point. In the second point, as we discussed earlier, the pole strength of the north pole and south pole are equal. That means both the poles of a bar magnet that is both north and south poles. North and south poles have equal pole strength. So these two are known as laws of magnetic poles. Now here, suppose if you take a Bohr magnet here, having north pole here and south pole here. Now if you cut this magnet like this into two pieces, and each piece will behave as a Bohr magnet only, and the pole strength here, this will become north pole, this will become south pole, this will become north pole, this will become south pole. So this south pole remains as south pole only here, north pole remains as north pole here. When you are cutting this into two pieces, and this will get north pole, this will get south pole. Now if you cut this magnet into two more pieces here, this will become north pole, this remains as south pole, and this will become south pole and north pole. So if you cut once again this piece into a small piece, and every time this will get to north and south pole, this is also south pole and north pole. So if a Bohr magnet is cut perpendicular to its length into two pieces, equal or unequal, here the piece may be here, you can cut this magnet like this also, first piece, this is the second piece. In this case, this will become north pole, south pole. This is north pole and south pole. So in all these cases, every magnet will have two poles. So from this example, what we can say, monopole do not exist. So we cannot have a magnet with a single pole. Monopole do not exist in the universe. So if you take any magnet, every magnet will have two poles, and which are having equal pole strength. So both these poles will have same pole strength when they are cutting like this. Suppose if this magnet is cut along the length, then what happens, we will discuss later about this point. Now after this, now here if you consider a Bohr magnet, a Bohr magnet north pole has a pole strength small m, then south pole will have a pole strength small m. But as I told earlier, north pole is considered as positive pole, south pole is considered as negative pole. So this is denoted with plus m, this is denoted with the minus m. So here two magnetic poles separated by some distance, the distance we denote this as 2L, where 2L is the magnetic length, is known as magnetic dipole. So every Bohr magnet can be considered as a magnetic dipole. So every dipole will have some movement, just like electric dipole has movement, where P bar is equal to Q into Q bar. Here magnetic moment of a Bohr magnet, magnetic moment is given by capital M is equal to, so electric dipole moment is Q into 2A bar, which is equal to P bar. Here charge into distance between two charges, here pole strength into distance between two poles. So we can write M into 2L. So as the dipole moment is a vector in electrostatics, here magnetic dipole is also a vector. So this you should write M bar, where pole strength is not a vector. So just like charge, it is not a vector, and this is also a vector. Here in a dipole, if you take a minus Q and plus Q, we denote this distance between the two charges always measured from negative charge to positive charge. Here also, to determine, to find the magnetic length, always this 2L should be measured from negative pole to positive pole, or in our language south pole to north pole. So this is the expression to find out magnetic moment of a Bohr magnet. So from this, what is the unit and dimensional formula for magnetic moment? I am going to write this as pole strength is measured in ampere meter and length is measured in meter. So this is ampere meter square. This is the SI unit of this magnetic moment, and the dimensional formula for this one is, as I said earlier, pole strength is almost analog to this current element. So current into length, so I am writing this dimension formula, current into length. This is the dimension formula for pole strength. Into this length L, so this will become A L square. And what is the direction of this magnetic moment? Just like direction of electron movement is from negative to positive charge, the direction of the magnetic moment is also from south pole to north pole. So here I am writing as it is a vector, direction of m bar is from south pole to north pole. This is very important. Why? Because in some problems, while solving problems, this m bar should be measured from south pole to north pole, then only you will get the correct answer. So we will solve some problems based on this one, where we are going to use this concept while solving the problems. What happens if a Bohr magnet is bent? So first of all, the pole strength of a Bohr magnet depends on three factors: nature of the material that we are using, whether it is steel, nickel, like that. Second one, area of cross section. And the third one, extent of the magnetization. Extent means the level up to which it is magnetized. Extent of magnetization. Suppose if a Bohr magnet is given like this, so this is a Bohr magnet and this is south pole and this is a north pole. Let us say pole strength of each pole is m. This is generally minus m, this is plus m. Whenever the nature of the material changes, let us say this is made of iron, let us say one more magnet of similar dimensions which is made of cobalt, the pole strength will change whenever the nature of the material changes. And the third one, level of magnetization. So if you want to convert a magnet, a iron piece or a magnetic material into a magnet, we have three different methods. The first one, by rubbing one magnetic material, generally ferromagnetic material, with a Bohr magnet, we can convert this into a Bohr magnet. So in these three methods, the first one is rubbing a ferromagnetic material with another Bohr magnet. Now, second one, the first process is, this is a iron piece, and if you rub this with a Bohr magnet in a single direction, so this iron piece will become a magnet. Second one, same method only, rubbing only, but by using two different magnets. Then also this is also rubbing only. So that's why I am going to take, one is the mechanical method, the second one is we call it as electric method. By passing DC current, that is direct current, we can convert a iron piece or a nickel or cobalt into a Bohr magnet. So either the mechanical method or electric method is used to convert a ferromagnetic substance into a Bohr magnet. Now here, the level of magnetization means the amount of DC current that is passed here, the amount of rubbing that took place over this one to convert into magnet. Now, whenever a Bohr magnet is given, already this is over. So it is rubbed or it is used, it is made into a Bohr magnet by using electric method. But the nature is not going to change. Why? Because let us say it is made of iron, so it remains as iron only, and the magnetization is over. So now, how the pole strength will change? This and this not going to change when a Bohr magnet is given to us. So, but we can change the area of cross section. When it is found that whenever the area of cross section of the Bohr magnet is changed, the pole strength of the Bohr magnet also changes. So the pole strength is directly proportional to cross sectional area. If cross sectional area increases, the pole strength increases. If cross sectional area decreases, pole strength decreases. So now we will solve some problems here. The first one, a Bohr magnet of moment capital M is cut along its length into small n pieces each of equal width. So I am going to take one bar magnet here. This is a bar magnet, the original bar magnet. So I am showing only this portion. Now this bar magnet is having a magnetic moment m initially. It is cut along its length into n equal pieces. N equal pieces. So I am going to divide this into n equal 1, 2, 3. Let us say these are the equal pieces. So it is divided into how many pieces here? N equal pieces. N equal pieces. So previously this was the area. Now the area is divided into, actual area of this one is A. Now the present area, as it is divided into n equal parts, this will become A by n. Whenever area decreases, pole strength also decreases. So what is the pole strength of each piece now? This is the first one of the piece. But don't count this as 6 numbers. Let us say these are n pieces. Now original pole strength was m. Now new pole strength will be m by n. As area decreased by n times, pole strength is equal to n times, as pole strength directly proportional to area of cross section. Now what is the new magnetic moment? The original magnetic moment was m. So new magnetic moment, so m dash I am going to write m dash is equal, this is m dash, small m dash, into the distance between the two poles. As we discussed earlier, each and every magnetic piece will act as a bar magnet only. The magnetic length for each and every piece remains as 2L only even after cutting. So this is not going to change. So what is m dash now? This is m by n, new pole strength, and the distance between two poles is 2L. So this you can write m into 2L by n, which is equal to, actual this m is originally, this is m is equal to m into 2L. This is the original magnetic moment. Now the new magnetic moment will become, this is capital M by n. So pole strength decreases by n times as it is divided into n pieces. For example, in this diagram, let us say a magnet is divided into 6 equal parts. So what is m dash? Directly you can write m by 6, as area divided into 6 parts. Pole strength divides by 6 parts, and the magnetic moment also divided into 6 equal parts. So this is the method of finding magnetic moment when a bar magnet is cut along its length. Now what happens if a magnet is cut perpendicular to its length? Bar magnet is cut perpendicular to its length into n equal parts. So here I am going to write, this is the bar magnet, this is south pole, this is north pole. Now I am going to cut this perpendicular to its length. This is the length, so I am going to cut this into perpendicularly. So how many parts? I am going to divide into n equal parts. And you can see, if it is the south pole, this will become a north pole. South pole, north pole, each and every piece will behave as a bar magnet. And as the area of cross section of each and every piece remains same, so A is not changing here. As area is not changing, we can say pole strength m remains constant. So pole strength also remains constant. Now the original pole strength of this bar magnet before cutting was m into 2L. So what is the new magnetic moment, which is equal to m dash into 2L dash? Is there any change in the pole strength of the bar magnet? No. Why? Because whenever area is not changing, pole strength remains constant. So m dash remains as m only. But what about the length of this one? The original length between these two is 2L. Now it is divided into n equal parts. This will become 2L by n. So this is original m by n. So here also the magnetic moment will be equal to n 1 by n times the original magnetic moment. When a bar magnet of magnetic moment capital M is bent into U shape, so here a bar magnet is taken but it is bent in the form of U shape here. Now, when it is bent in the U shape, so this is the south pole, this is the north pole of the original magnet. So now it is bent in the U shape, and we have to assume that this is the north pole, this is the south pole, and this is the north pole, this is the south pole. So this will act as three different magnets placed like this. Now we know that the original magnetic moment of the bar magnet was M. Here as it is bent, the area of cross section of the magnet is not changing, but the distance between north and south poles is decreased. That's why magnetic moment will decrease. Here I am going to write the total original bar magnet, so which was given like this. This is the original bar magnet which was bent into a U shape here. So this is the south pole, this is the north pole. So this magnetic moment is given by M into 2L. Initial magnetic moment of this bar magnet is given by this value. Now what is the magnetic moment of this one? Here the magnetic moment is acting from left to right. So this I can write as the magnetic moment is acting from left to right, that is from south pole to north pole or negative pole to positive pole. So I can write this as I cap, because that will give the direction of the magnetic moment here as it is M bar. So this is I cap. Now in this the magnetic moment of this part will become as the length reduced by 3 times here, because 3 equal portions. So magnetic moment of this portion is M by 3. Magnetic moment of this portion is also M by 3. Magnetic moment of this portion is also M by 3. So what is the new magnetic moment of this U-shaped bar magnet? This is given by M by 3, but what is its direction? Plus M by 3 plus M by 3. But let me find the unit vectors. This M by 3 is acting from south to north downwards. This is a positive y-axis, this is a negative y-axis. So this is minus j cap. Similarly, so south to north, this is acting like this. So this is a I cap. So I am going to write this as I cap. Here the third part is south to north, that is along positive y-axis. So positive y-axis means plus j cap. You can see M by 3 minus j cap, M by 3 plus j cap cancel each other, because these two magnetic moments are equal and opposite to each other. So the new magnetic moment will become M by 3 I cap only. The original magnetic moment is also acting in the I direction, and the new magnetic moment is also acting in the I direction. So this is one model. Now one more problem is, suppose if a bar magnet is of magnetic moment, original magnetic moment is M, is bent in S shape. So bar magnet of moment M is bent into S shape here in the form of S. Then what happens? This is the original bar magnet. Here it is bent in U shape. The same bar magnet is bent in the S shape here. So I am going to draw this. So this is the shape that we are going to get by bending this into this one. So here I am going to write the same. Left side we have south pole here. This is north pole, and if we divide, this will become south north. This will become south north. This will become south north. This is north south. This is north and south. This is north. So Here, once again I am going to use the same method. The original magnetic moment is from left side to right side, that is along positive x-axis. Now here, this magnet is divided into 5 parts, 5 equal parts. So this will become m by 5. This moment will be m by 5, m by 5, m by 5, m by 5. So what is the net magnetic moment of this bent magnet? I am going to write this as m dash is equal m by 5 plus m by 5 plus m by 5 plus m by 5 plus m by 5. But what are the unit vectors here? For the first one I am going to take, this is along positive x-axis. So this is I cap. This is along positive y-axis. So this is j cap. This is a negative x-axis, minus I cap. This is a positive y-axis, j cap. This is a positive x-axis, I cap. You can say this and this are equal and opposite. This and this get cancelled. This is j cap, this is I cap. So m dash is equal m by 5 j cap, m by 5 j cap. We can write 2m by 5 j cap plus m by 5 I cap. So this is the no magnetic moment of this bar magnet. So in the form of vectors you can write this one, but if you want to find out the magnitude of this one, to find out the magnitude of m dash I am going to write m dash. This is acting along x-axis, this is acting along y-axis. So this is x-axis, this is m by 5, and along y-axis this is 2m by 5. So what is the resultant of two vectors acting from the same point? Resultant is given by the diagonal drawn from the same point. So this is the direction of this resultant magnetic field. So which is given by root over p square plus q square plus 2pq cos theta. As the angle between these two is 90, cos 90 will become 0. So answer is 2m by 5 whole square plus m by 5 whole square. So this is 5 square, this is 5 square, so 5 will come out, and inside this one we have 4m square plus m square. This is also 5m square, 1 by 5. So this you can write root 5 by 5 m, or simply you can write m by root 5. So this is the resultant magnetic field of this bar magnet when it is bent in the form of S. But sometimes they may ask you the direction of this resultant magnetic field with x-axis. So how to find that angle here? So this is theta. I am going to find out this angle. So tan theta can be written as opposite side by adjacent side. Opposite side magnetic moment is 2m by 5. Adjacent is m by 5. These two get cancelled. Tan theta is 2, or theta is equal to tan inverse 2. So this is the direction of this magnetic field with x-axis. When a bar magnet is bent in the form of L only, of equal sides, so original magnetic moment of this bar magnet previously before bending was m is equal to m into 2L. So this is a original magnetic moment before bending. So when it is bent now, so this is south pole, north pole, this is south pole, north pole. So as it is bent into two equal parts, as the length is reduced to half, as the area is not changing, pole strength remains constant. So m dash is equal to m. But the length previously from here to here 2L, but this is half of it, 2L by 2. So the pole strength remains constant, length is halved, so no magnetic moment will become m by 2. This is also m by 2. So what is the resultant magnetic moment? The resultant magnetic moment is given by m by 2. So this is south to north downwards, that is along negative y-axis, minus j cap, plus this is south to north, this is along positive x-axis, plus I cap. You can say this is acting like this. This is m by 2 plus I cap. This is south to north. This is m by 2 minus j cap. These two moments are mutually perpendicular to each other. So m dash is given by root over m by 2 whole square plus m by 2 whole square. So m square by 4 plus m square by 4, 2 m square by 4 or m square by 2 or m by root 2. So this is how we can find out the resultant magnetic field of this bent magnet. So this is one method, but I am going to solve the same thing in another method. This is by using vector method. Now, as the magnet is bent in this form, you can join the south pole and the north pole of this bar magnet. Magnetic length is the shortest distance between south pole and north pole. So this will become 2L dash. The original length was 2L, now it will become 2L dash. We know that this is 2L by 2, this is also 2L by 2. Total original length is 2L, this is half of it, half of it. So how to find 2L dash? So 2L dash, that is original magnetic length was 2L. The new magnetic length is 2L dash, which is given by root over. This is 2L by 2, that is L square, because 2 get cancelled. This is also L square. So L square plus L square will become 2L square under root, or you can write it root 2 into L. So this is the new magnetic length of this bar magnet. As the area of cross section is not changing, magnetic pole strength remains same. So m dash can be written as new pole strength into new magnetic length. The new pole strength remains as the old pole strength only. Why? Because there is no change in the area of cross section of this one, and the new length is root 2L. So this will become root 2 into ml. But what is the original magnetic moment? This is m into 2L. So if you bring this 2 here, m by 2 will be ml. So in place of ml, you can write m by 2. So this will become root 2 into m by 2 or root 2 m by root 2 into root 2. You can cancel one of them. So finally you will be left with m by root 2. So previously I got m by root 2 by using this vector form, or by using this finding this new magnetic length also, you will get the same expression m by root 2. Similarly, if you take a bar magnet like this is the original bar magnet having pole strength small m each on either side, and the original length of this bar magnet, magnetic length is 2L. So original magnetic moment will be m into 2L. This is equation 1. If this bar magnet is bent at its center such that the two parts are making an angle theta between them, so I am going to bend this bar magnet. This is the first part and this is the second part. So this magnet is bent like this. Now, in this case, what is the new magnetic moment? So here it is bent such that it makes an angle theta with each part. Here the length of these two parts are equal. So I am going to take this as theta. This is south pole, this is north pole. So north pole remains as it is here, north pole, this is the south pole. So how to find the magnetic moment of this new bar magnet? I am going to use the second method. So let me find out the shortest distance between north and south poles. This will be the shortest distance. So this will be the new magnetic length. I am taking it as 2L dash. Original magnet is 2L, now it will be 2L dash. Now, the original length was 2L, but now it is divided into two equal parts. So this portion 2L by 2 or L, this portion also 2L by 2 or L. Now, if you draw this perpendicular bisector of this angle, now this angle can be written as this will become theta and this length will be L. So I am going to draw a simple line here. This is the line that I am drawing here. This is the blue color one. This is the blue color one, and this is the half of the length of this magnet, or this in cancel. This is L. This angle will be theta by 2. This will become half of the angle. So I am writing this as theta by 2. So what is this? Let me take this as y. So how to find this one? You can see this is a right angle triangle. In right angle triangle, sine theta by 2 can be written as y by L. So y is equal L sine theta by 2. But this, if it is L, this will also become L. So the new length here will be 2y. So what is the new magnetic moment of this bent magnet? M dash is given by M into 2L. This is M dash, this is 2L dash. As the area of cross section of this magnet is not changing, this M dash can be written as M only. But 2L dash is equal to 2y here. So 2y. So this is M into 2 into, I know the y value here. So directly in place of y I am writing L sine theta by 2. So the new magnetic moment of this bent magnet is given by, you can see this pole strength into original magnetic length. The product of these two is given by new old magnetic moment or original magnetic moment M into sine theta by 2. So this is the new magnetic moment which is given by original magnetic moment into sine angle of the theta by 2. Suppose if this is bent such that this theta is 90, so if theta is equal to 90 degrees, here you can see this is bent with theta is equal to 90 degrees. So how this formula will change? So what is the new magnetic moment? The new magnetic moment is given by M dash is equal M into sine 90 by 2. So M dash will be equal to M into sine 90 by 2 sine 45. So directly I am writing 1 by root 2. So which is equal to M by root 2. So here we solved this one already, we got this result here. When theta is 90, the resultant magnetic field will be M by root 2. By using this method also M by root 2, here also M by root 2. Suppose if theta is equal to 180, if theta is equal to 180, M dash is equal to M into sine 180 by 2, sine 180 by 2 sine 90, this will become 1, M dash is equal to M. So what is the meaning of theta 180 here? This one is bent such that this theta is 180, which is nothing but the given bar magnet whose magnetic moment remains as capital M. A bar magnet of magnetic moment, original magnetic moment capital M with the pole strength M and magnetic length 2L is bent in the form of an arc. So let us say this is bent in the form of an arc subtending an angle theta at its center. So it is bent in the form of an arc here. This is the arc. So if it is bent in this form by subtending some angle theta at its center here. So the angle made by this bar magnet at the center, let us say this is a theta. So here I can write this as south pole and north pole. This will become south pole, this will become north pole. The original magnetic moment is given by M is equal to small m into 2L. You can see the area of cross section of the bar magnet has not changed. So here I can write M dash is equal to M only. The pole strength remains constant. But what is the magnetic length of this bar magnet? So this will be 2L before bending. But after bending, what is the shortest distance between south pole and north pole? And this will be the new magnetic length. But how to find this one? So to find out this one, we can write this, we can divide this angle, and each angle, this is theta. Now this will become theta by 2. So this will become theta by 2. And this is the radius of this arc. I can write it as a R. Now how to find this value? Now as the distance between south pole and north pole is this one, so let me take this as y and y. So what is the new magnetic length? The 2L dash will be y plus y, which is equal to 2y. Now I can write this as, in this case, tan theta sin theta by 2, sin theta by 2 can be written as opposite side by hypotenuse y by r. So y is equal to r sin theta by 2. Now to find out the new magnetic moment of this bar magnet, m dash is equal to small m dash into 2l dash. But as I discussed earlier, m dash remains as m dash only or m only. So in this place I am going to write m. But what is the new magnetic length? The new magnetic length is equal to 2y. So I am going to write this as 2y. So this is m into 2 into, I got this y value as r sin theta by 2. So this will become 2mr sin theta by 2. But if I want to write this value in terms of this one, the small m is there, but r is not given, but I need to convert this r in terms of 2l. You know that this is the arc length here. Arc length is given by 2l is equal radius into total angle subtended at the center, which is equal to r into theta. So in place of r you can write 2l by theta. So replace this r with 2l by theta. You can write 2m into 2l by theta into sin theta by 2. So you can see this is the original magnetic moment which is given by m into 2l. So you can write this m dash as 2m sin theta by 2 by theta. Remember students, while solving problems, you have to replace this theta with the radians. You have to give this value in radians but not in degrees. For example, if a bar magnet of magnetic moment capital M is bent into an arc which subtend an angle 60 degrees at the center, what is the new magnetic moment? If you remember this formula, or if you solve this one within 10 to 15 seconds, the new magnetic moment can be written as 2m times of sine theta is equal to 60 degrees. So here you can write this as 60 by 2, no problem. But in the denominator, don't write 60 degrees. 60 degrees is equal to pi by 3 radians. So please replace this with pi by 3. So this is sine 60 by 2 will become sine 30. So this will become 2m sine 30 degrees by pi by 3. So m dash will become 2m into 1 by 2 by pi by 3. These two get cancels. M by pi 3 or 3m by pi. So this is the new magnetic moment of this bar magnet when bent at 60 degrees. If the same bar magnet is bent at 180 degrees here, so let us say it is making one angle 180 degrees. So m double dash is given by formula 2m sin theta by 2 by theta, which is equal to 2. Magnetic moment is m. Here theta is 180. You can replace here theta 180 by 2 sin 90. So this will become sin 90 degrees only. But in the denominator, replace this or write this theta in terms of radians. So 180 degrees is equal to pi radians. Sin 90 is 1. So the final value of the new magnetic moment is 2m by pi. So this is m double dash.